We are back at Madison Square Garden getting set for Rangers and Flyers. New York Rangers preseason hockey is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Check out our Audi goaltending matchup, and it'll be full game for Henrik Lundqvist, his third game of this preseason. And he's played very, very well. Gave up 1 goal in the game against Chicago Friday night. And Steve Mason in goal, the #1 man for the Flyers, and he too will play the entire game tonight. The referee tonight is Paul Dvorsky and Darcy Burchell. The linesmen are Michel Cormier and Tim Nowak. And we are underway and breaking in Chris Kreider. And it just slid off his stick as it was checked by Braden Coburn. Rangers opening up with Kreider on the left, Brassard in the middle, and Max Zuccarello on the right side. Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle on defense. Flyers coming out with it. Flyers playing their 6th preseason game, including rookie games. They will play 11 preseason games. That's a lot. Kreider across to Zuccarello. That's moving in. That's Andrew McDonald, veteran defenseman, one-time Islander. Zuccarello controlling. McDonough's come on. They will play it deep. It deflects in front. Rangers starting their first change.
Well, you saw it right from the opening faceoff. That's what Dan Boyle can do. He's an excellent puck-moving defenseman, and he was able to set up Kreider, who just missed on the breakaway.
Nice work by JT Miller against Nick Schultz. Rick Nash gets to the puck. The line that we talked about. Nash on the left. McDonough with a good shot. Mason the save. Nash on the left. JT Miller in the middle. Marty Sandaway the right wing. Steve Camper on the fence with Ryan McDonough. Nick Schultz's shot was partially blocked by Marty Sandaway. Different year for Marty Sandaway. His first training camp other than the Tampa Bay Lightning in a long time.
It's not easy coming to a new team late in the season, especially when there's so much pressure to produce and you're trying to figure out your teammates and your line mates and the style of play. And but he certainly was an inspiration in the playoffs once he got going. There's an offside. Meanwhile, Sam, we're talking about Dan Boyle in the opening faceoff. Here's Boyle, and over here you'll see Kreider just cut right to the middle. So the key is win the faceoff, which Brassard does, and now there comes Kreider. Just off his stick, he reaches there, just can't quite get the shot. But Dan Boyle, very alert with a good pass right up the middle.
The Rangers bring on the third line of Chris Mueller in the middle, number 86. The left wing is Anthony Duclair, wearing number 63. And Ryan Haggerty, number 39 on the right side. At Hunwick, number 44, is on defense, along with Dylan McElrath, number 42. Gostisbehere was pressured by Duclair. Duclair showing his speed. His first chance of Madison Square Garden ice. Good play, and they force a turnover. And that one on goal by Kevin Hayes just off the bench. So two of the Rangers youngsters and newer players, Kevin Hayes out of Boston College making the play. And Anthony Duclair with a good play.
Yeah, real good work. Good pressure. Duclair just puts the pressure on. Hayes will jump in, and Hayes just kind of throws it to the net. It looked like more of a pass than anything, trying to set up Duclair. But that long reach by Hayes, who is 6'5", is what forced the turnover and gave the Rangers the chance.
Coaches were saying to us, Joe, that they wanted to take a look at Kevin Hayes on the wing, which they feel is a more natural spot for him. But because of the injury to Derek Stepan and now Matthew Lombardi, Kevin Hayes staying in center.
Actually, yesterday in practice, Sam, he was on right wing. He was scheduled to play there tonight. Then Lombardi went down in practice yesterday. They needed a centerman, so they had to move him back over.
Nice hit by Tanner Glass on Nick Schultz. Flyers able to move it up. Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle paired on defense. Lundqvist playing the Glass. Tanner Glass, wearing number 15 on the left wing for the Rangers, with Kevin Hayes in the middle, and Jesper Fast, number 91, the right wing. Kevin Hayes getting away. Gets the shot off. It's partially blocked by Nick Schultz and goes up into the netting. Play stops. 3:26 gone by here in the first.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting this morning. Elaine Vigneault telling us that he just feels that with 4 games remaining in the preseason that he still has plenty of time to experiment, try some different things. Of course, Rick Nash in particular played the right wing in Chicago tonight. He's over on the left side. JT Miller's in the middle. They're trying to figure out if that combination will work.
Zuccarello with a back pass comes out of the zone. Now this is an interesting line where you have Derek Brassard with Matt Zuccarello, 2 puck possession type forwards, and Chris Kreider, who's actually taking the spot vacated by Benoit Pouliot. Pouliot leaving, signing as a free agent with Edmonton. But Kreider's more of that hard skating, straight up and down winger,
which is what they're looking to see if that works, because that's the way Pouliot was. He provided that line with that, with that north-south big power forward, go in, hit somebody, get to the front of the net, and they're wondering maybe if Kreider can't just fit right in with that twosome. Good
hustle by JT Miller. That deflected off the defenseman. Mason had to make a tough save. Good work by Miller in the corner. McDonough plays it toward the net, tipped wide by Miller.
And then just missed by St. Louis.
Aggressive play by JT Miller. Good shift for him. Flyers come back the other way.
A real good start by the Rangers. Quick on the puck. Flyers not able to get much going. Good pressure in the offensive zone.
Taylor Lear, number 58, on for the Flyers. Some different names. A lot of the regulars will play tomorrow night for Philadelphia in the game, in their home game of this home and home.
And maybe even Claude Giroux, who was hurt 15 minutes into the first practice session of training camp, and back on the ice now, and there's a chance he'll play tomorrow night.
Nice play by Chris Mueller. Mueller signed as a free agent in the offseason by the Rangers. Playing last year for the Texas Stars in the American League, winning the Calder Cup championship. Duclair moves in, and he scores! Anthony Duclair! His first game on Garden Ice. And it's 1-0 Rangers. That's how you make a case for staying here.
How about that shot? What a shot that was. Steve Mason, that goes off the crossbar and in. Here's the speed that everyone's talked about. Now look at the release. Bang! What a shot.
And that's an NHL defenseman in Braden Coburn and a #1 goaltender in Steve Mason.
Oh, and Steve Mason had a great year for the Philadelphia Flyers in goal last year. That was just a wonderful shot and goal by Duclair.
Well, the youngster, he's not talking about just trying to make an impression, as you said, Joe. Obviously the feeling is he still has junior eligibility. He's only 19. You don't want to rush him. But this kid, he keeps doing everything right. And cheers here at the Garden.
Tanner Glass just had a big hit on Zach Rinaldo. I think things are going to get heated up here, Sam. I know you meant now Rinaldo having a few words with the Rangers bench. But Rinaldo kind of took a run at Duclair the previous shift that Duclair was on the ice.
Duclair with his second of the preseason from Haggerty and Stahl at 5:31. We're 6:15 into the game, and the Rangers have a 1-0 lead. There's some talk going on between the benches, and John Giannone hears it all. John, what do you got?
Pretty fun stuff. We showed Zach Rinaldo for a reason. He started it early on when he kind of bumped into Anthony Duclair after Duclair's first shift, sort of greeting him on the NHL level, and a couple of the Rangers came to his defense after this happened here. Rinaldo also just got absolutely snookered, laid out by Tanner Glass right in front of his own bench, as you'll see right here. As he was going to the bench, Tanner Glass said, "Welcome to the game, buddy." And then there's Zach Sturtini. He had the 43 penalty minutes in 3 games. Stortini, before the game even began, guys, yelled at the Ranger bench, prepare for a long night, and he threw an expletive in there as well. Derek Brassard looked at him and said, enjoy the minors, buddy.
They got the sharp edges out there. The sharp tongues are working. 6.5 minutes into the first period. Braden Shen dumping it in. A long shot from the right side. First shot on goal for the Flyers at 6:36. Andrew Gordon taking it.
Well, and here's Leclerc again on the goal. Look at the speed, how he just accelerates. So he's got that, and then the release. My gosh, that is some kind of a release. Wow. That's what happened. That's why you score 50 goals in 59 games in junior hockey. You don't do it by accident.
Rangers, JT Miller, Marty St. Louis, and Rick Nash on. That's an offside. The puck came out of the zone. I think what's very impressive to me, Joe, is that he's not in awe of anything. He wasn't in awe in Chicago. He's not in awe here at the Garden. It's just he's playing, he feels natural and looks natural out there.
Here's the thing to keep in mind. This is the third preseason game for the Rangers. The veterans on all these teams around the league, they slowly get back to a level where they're ready to start the regular season. So their games will get better as a group as preseason increases. The question then becomes for these young kids who stand out early, can they get better as preseason goes on so that they continue to stand out as they get closer to the regular season?
Marty St. Louis, Andrew McDonald there. Nice move. Pass back. McDonough shoots and it's blocked. McDonough, by the way, got an assist on the Duclair goal, not Mark Stahl. JT Miller. Move on Braden Coburn stays with him.
Nice play by Coburn. Good, solid defensive defenseman.
Give way to McElrath for a hard shot that was kicked out by Mason. So the Rangers' goal is Duclair, his second of the preseason from Haggerty and McDonough. Going to the net. Haggerty scores! Ryan Haggerty gives the Rangers a 2-0 lead. How about that move?
Another one of those prized free agent college players that were a free agent. The Rangers signed Haggerty last year. There's the move, and then takes it hard to the net. Boy, that's a good play. He goes past Andrew McDonald, who's a really good defensive defenseman. 47 is McDonald, that played and had those great years for the Islanders. And that's just a spectacular move. Boy, oh boy, those hands, putting the puck through a little area, going to get it and put it in. Wow, a couple of beauties here in the first period for the Rangers.
Good start to the game. Matt Hunwick double team takes a hard hit. Mark Alt with a shot deflected and stopped by Lundqvist. Chris Vandeveld is on them. Number 76. Zach Stortini, number 45, is on as well. Darryl Powell, one-time Rangers, started with the Flyers, came to the Rangers for parts of 2 seasons, and now back with the Flyers.
Yeah, he signed actually an AHL contract, not an NHL contract with the Flyers, so he's destined for the minor leagues. Good player to have in your organization, though, well-liked. Knows how to play the game defensively.
The outlet for Jason Atkinson. Atkinson got knocked down. He played against the Rangers in the playoffs. Played very well in that opening round series. Good takeaway by Kevin Hayes for the Rangers, wearing number 59. He's on with Tanner Glass and Jesper Fast. That shot goes in. Dan Boyle. Oh, Rangers firing to the net. Everything finding net. It's 3-0 Rangers.
Well, this play by Hayes is a beautiful pass. The Rangers have been really sharp in this first period. Keep the puck in the zone, and you're going to see Hayes end up, you keep it in, and here, watch the spinorama. Turns, and then that opens a lane for Boyle to move in. He saw Boyle the first time, but didn't see a lane to pass it to him. And then Boyle just fires it to get deflected. Yeah, it hits Who is that in
Jesper
front?
Fast.
Jesper Fast in front goes off his shin pad and in.
So it's going to be Jesper Fast's goal. Dan Boyle and Kevin Hayes will get assists. Mark Stahl with a shot that went through, and Mason made the save. Still in the first half of the first period, the Rangers with a 3-0 lead. That shot deflected out of play. Rangers with 9 shots on goal. Flyers only 1. The second goal was Haggerty from Duclair and McDonough. So that threesome, each with 2 points in the game. And Dan Boyle will get an assist on the goal that will go to Jesper Fast that went in off his leg. Haggerty with a goal and an assist. Duclair with a goal and an assist. McDonough 2 assists. Great start for the Rangers. Nash for JT Miller. Now Marty St. Louis toward the net. Another corner it goes. Nash is there. Andrew McDonald for the Flyers. Blair Jones took it across and gave it away. Here's St. Louis waiting, finding Steve Tamper, and his shot was stopped by Mason. McDonough and Tamper, the Rangers defensive pair. Nash checked there by Scott Lawton. Fast from Boyle and Hayes at 9:08. For the Rangers' third goal. Chris Bueller all the way across. Good pass, got through. Duclair behind the net. Slides it in front. Mason got the stick on it. Out comes Atkinson.
Flyers are really having a difficult time with the quickness of the Rangers, and that's something that Craig Berube, the head coach for the Flyers, is trying to get his team to play a much more up-tempo game. They're having problems in this first period.
Unway going to the net. Saved by Mason. Rebound, another save, and then a crash into the net. Ronaldo with a hit on Haggerty. I believe he pushed Haggerty into Mason.
Without question.
9:18 to go in the first period. The Rangers flying. Ryan Haggerty made it 2-0. And then it was Jesper Fast from Dan Boyle.
Boy, the Rangers 3-0, and they are flying. How about this play here? Look at McElrath, head up, good communication. Hunwick, the pass, he gets it right back. Little pass there from Duclair. Here comes Hunwick all the way up the ice. I mean, the Rangers hardly get touched on the play. And then Mason has to make a sparkling right pad save right here on Haggerty to keep it from being 4-0. And then Haggerty gets cross-checked by Ronaldo into Mason. They are flying.
Rangers with 12 shots. Flyers only 1. And not what Flyers coach Craig Berube envisioned for his team coming in. Matt Hunwick and Dylan McElrath, the Rangers defensive pair. Chris Vandeveld, 76. That's a bump along the boards for Hunwick. Rangers looking for depth on defense. Looking for number 7. Tanner Glass.
And Stortini.
And Stortini. Zach Stortini.
Stortini's much bigger. Tanner Glass is very willing. Somebody should jump in.
Almost saw.
He's fighting a player that's not going to play 2 games in the next 10 years in the National Hockey League.
Both guys tired, and the linesman put an end to it. Tanner Glass will be
he's a
willing participant.
He's a willing player, but he's a player that's going to play regularly. That's my point. Stortini's a guy who says 15 in 5 years. This is the only thing he can do. You know, and the thing about Tanner Glass, he's willing, He's not a heavyweight, but he'll fight anybody. And I'm just saying, in a preseason game, when this guy's trying to hurt somebody, that's what he's trying to do. John's got some news for us down between the bench. John.
Yeah, guys, those two guys talked throughout the last commercial break, and when they were set up for the face-off, Stortini was screaming at Glass and pointing to the middle of the ice as if to say, this is where we're going to fight. Glass didn't take him up on it. It was only after the hit that they decided to go.
All right, thanks, John. With the on-ice perspective, here's all sees all. Chris Kreider. Kreider, Brassard, and Zuccarello on the ice for the Rangers, who have a 3-0 lead with 8.5 minutes to go in the first period. Zuccarello telling us this morning just trying to get that timing back the way it was at the end of last season in the playoffs. He said his legs are great, he's in great condition. Now it's just a matter of getting that on-ice timing back.
Yeah, he's about 6 pounds heavier than he was when he finished the Stanley Cup final. And he said he just needed to take some time out. He went to Spain. He and Carl Hagelin spent a little time there relaxing. And he said he did a lot of weight work to get his muscles stronger again and put some of that muscle back on.
Well, we got another one going. Ryan McDonagh. What's he doing involved here with Blair Jones? I don't know what set that one off.
Blair Jones has been fighting in preseason. Blair Jones is trying to make this team. He's got a chance to make it. He's been with a couple of different teams.
Tampa Bay and Calgary.
He's had a good camp for them. He can kill penalties. He doesn't shy away from this type of thing. He just goes in to try and finish his hit. He had his stick up a little bit, as does McDonagh.
The Flyers are 41, Blair Jones. The Rangers are 27, Ryan McDonagh.
5 minutes each. 5 minutes each for fighting to McDonagh and Jones. Stortini and Glass got 5 minutes each for fighting at 11:04. Flyers, well, you know that they've been the Broad Street bullies in the past. And maybe they're trying to rekindle that style of play.
The other thing that happens, as you mentioned earlier, Sam, they play an awful lot of games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the stretch of playing 4 games in 5 nights. You can't do that with 30 players that have a chance actually to make your team. You've got to have 40 players around. So you're going to have to play players that you know have no chance of making your team, and about half their lineup tonight consists of that.
McElrath took a run at Ronaldo, took another run at him with a hit, so watch out for that one. That could be something that could go a little later on. Meanwhile, on the ice with a little over 7 minutes to go in the first, Rangers have a 3-0 lead. Flyers have been held to only 1 shot on goal. You know, it's interesting. We know that Craig Berube, as a player, was a tough player, but as a coach, we talked with him several times, Joe. He wants his guys to play the game and play the game with speed. He knows what the game has become in the NHL.
He's become a real fan of puck control, moving the puck quickly, handling the puck, making plays. But I don't think this necessarily bothers him.
Yeah. No.
I think he still has a little bit of that
That's a good point.
In his blood.
And bounced through. Here comes Duclair. Oh, it slid off his stick. He was making a lot of moves. Deking, stick handling toward the net. He lost control.
I counted 63 moves from the blue line in. How about the speed again?
Every shift, it seems Anthony Duclair does something where you notice him on the ice.
Big hit by Rick Nash on Braden Shen. Shen looked behind him to see who made the hit.
Henrik and McElrath on the ice. Shen with a hit against for Foss.
Foss got his head up right at the last minute. I think maybe somebody might have yelled to him because he was all lined up by Braden Shen.
Free by Foss, can take it away by the Flyers. Here's Shen, number 10, moving in. Falls down. Rangers take the puck. Kreider moves in with Zuccarello. Saved by Mason. Nice play. Good pass from Kreider to Zuccarello. And Boyle. It's it back from Derek Brassard. Over and blocked. Nice play by Zuccarello. Kreider gets there as well. Flyers able to come out with it. 5 minutes to go, first period. Jason Atkinson, that deflects on goal, save, and the rebound went wide. So Lundqvist had to make a tough save. And beat Mark Alt, number 39. He's picked off by Dylan McElrath. McElrath with the puck. Flyers given credit for 2 shots on goal on that last chance down the ice. Shots now 13-3. Miller punching it across, chases it down.
Good work by Miller.
He's careful with the shot to the block. Schultz plays it. And the takeaway by St. Louis. Nash's back pass comes out of the zone. Mueller slides it to St. Louis. Save! He tried a little change-up shot on Steve Mason. Mason stayed with him. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first. By Scott Button, former first-round draft pick of the Flyers. Long shot was blocked. Mueller with the outlet for Duclair. Boy, they're looking for that breakaway with Duclair.
He reads it, boy. His timing's been good. And they know that he's with that speed. He wasn't far away from another breakaway there.
Vanderbilt playing it ahead. McElrath trying to keep it in, does. Flyers take it back. And the dump in goes over the glass into the crowd. 3:22 remaining. First period, Rangers a 3-0 lead. Jesper Fast and the hit from Brayden Schenn.
Anthony Duclair showing again in this game that he wants to say. Here's a pass from Hayes. It bounces over a couple of sticks, and here comes Duclair. Boy, he just lost control of it. A couple of deeps, back and forth, shoulder move, little of everything, and just rolls off his stick. And so he gets back to the bench, and the veteran Marty St. Louis says, here's the way you're supposed to do it, kid. Loosening the kid up a little bit. You know, Marty St. Louis, Friday, Sam, when we were in Chicago, I had a spy tell me that after they practiced at their practice facility here, Marty St. Louis wasn't there. He went back on the ice, 45 minutes after practice, went back on the ice. He took Danny Cristo on the ice with him, and just the two of them. He was showing him how to position himself, where to put his stick around the front of the net, how to find the open areas, that type of thing. That's the kind of leader Marty St. Louis is.
Like having a player coach on your squad with so much experience and so much success in his great career. Very valuable asset. And Hunwick back for the puck. Atkinson on him for the Flyers. And Hayes comes away with it. Nice job by Hayes. And that's another player talking to the coaches beforehand. Penalty upcoming.
On Glass.
A boarding call will bring us the first power play of the game, and it'll be to the Flyers as Tanner Glass goes off.
Glass got in quickly. It's something the Rangers have done. That was Andrew McDonald that took the hit. Glass goes off for boarding.
A bit of minor to Tanner Glass. There's Andrew McDonald.
Now, Flyer power play has been absolutely tremendous in the preseason, but they're missing some of those players that run the power play. Mark Strite's not in the lineup. He's been their quarterback.
Wayne Simmons,
who's good around the front of the net. So, but this is where, you know, number 53, you know, Gostisbehere is a player to watch because that's what he does, and this is a situation where they want to see him excel.
Gostisbehere with the puck here, number 53. Holt fires in for Philadelphia. Rangers have Nash and Brassard with Boyle and Stahl, and the Rangers clear out. Rangers a 3-0 lead. 2 minutes to go, first period. line by McDonough. Puck out of the zone. Kevin Hayes seeing some penalty killing time.
Yeah, they want to see what he can do.
Jesper Fast as well. Fast with a good play. Hayes picks up the puck. Down the ice it goes. In our talks with Craig Berube, he was commenting about how quick the Rangers are in their line changes. And that's something that he wants his team to get to.
They have a better flow and a faster overall game. Quick line changes.
McDonald turning. Rangers have Zuccarello on with Duclair. McDonough and Tampa saved by Lundqvist with a left pad.
Oh, good save. That was Raffl that turned and let the shot go quickly.
McDonald up ahead for Andrew Gordon. Michael Raffl, number 12.
Oh, a good play there by Duclair. Comes back, lifts the stick from behind, and makes the defensive play on Raffl.
50 seconds to go in the period. 15 seconds to go. Flyers power play. Andrew Gordon with a shot. And that went off the post and stayed in play. Pass was tipped. Brought back in by Blair Jones. The set up for Brayden Coburn. Saved by Lundqvist. Lundqvist getting a little more work in the second half of this period. The power play is over. Good penalty kill for the Rangers. 2 shots on goal on the power play for the Flyers. A chance to go up for Henrik. Henrik. Final seconds of the first period. Rangers a 3-0 lead. Lundqvist keeps it moving. Outstanding first period for the Rangers. Hard to find fault with anything the Rangers did on the ice. They scored, they skated well, they matched the physical play. Good first period.
Well, they came out flying is what they were doing. They were really skating. They were quick on the puck. They forced the Flyers into, I don't know how many turnovers. The Flyers had trouble getting going out of their own zone. And the Rangers were just relentless with everything they did in the period.
Rangers head off. We head to the studio to Al Troutwig. Al?
Sam, Dylan McIlrath has played hockey in places like Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. What he wants to do is play a lot more hockey in New York City. We'll join him and the Delta Intermission Report coming up and find out what he's doing to help make that happen. Meanwhile, I'll be joined by Joe Micheletti. We'll go over first period highlights, and from a Ranger perspective, there's a lot of that. Plus, we'll update you on the Garden 366 and how by one day, that changed today with Carl Hagelin and Dominic Moore. It's all straight ahead on the Delta Intermission Report. The Rangers almost struck right off the opening faceoff, but then struck once, twice, and 3 times to lead the Flyers 3-0 at the world's most famous arena.
Back at Madison Square Garden, getting set for the second period. Rangers and Flyers. New York Rangers preseason hockey is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Now, time for our Cadillac Trivia Quiz. How many Hobey Baker Award winners, that's the best player in college hockey, have played for the New York Rangers? We've got a lot of collegiate
Did Chris Drury win it?
You know what? That's a possibility.
And I'm wondering if Marty St. Louis won it?
I don't think Marty St. Louis won it, but I know George McPhee was the first.
Okay.
So let's see.
I'm going to say 3.
That's a good number.
Thanks.
Matt Gilroy, I forgot.
Right.
Mike Motto, Jason Krog, Chris Drury, George McPhee. So we got McPhee and Drury.
If we would have had a little bit more time.
Yes. Jason Krog, who played for the Islanders and also played for the Rangers. Matt Gilroy and Mike Motto. Underway, second period. Rangers with Brassard, Kreider, and Zuccarello. Each team's goaltender will play the entire game, scheduled to play the entire game. Steve Mason for the Flyers, Henrik Lundqvist for the Rangers. Cam Talbot will play the entire game tomorrow night in Philadelphia for the Rangers. That's an icing whistle on the play, and tomorrow night it will be the Rangers and Flyers from Philadelphia right here on MSG. Hope you'll join us at 7 p.m. right here on MSG Network. And after that game, the Rangers coaching staff will get together, management will get together and make some cuts. down to around 30 players.
And they might just decide to put Duclair in the lineup tomorrow night. That decision has not been made yet. But if he keeps showing some things, they might want to just keep him in there.
Duclair getting a long look. Third-round draft pick in 2013. And he has been very, very impressive.
You know, Sam, a couple years before his draft year, he was someone that was considered to be a first-round draft pick. And then his stock dropped for whatever reason. The Rangers got him in the third round. And has he ever looked impressive?
He was the Rangers' third pick in the third round. Their first pick that year was Adam Tambellini. That shot went wide. Taken by Gostisbehere. And the puck deflects in.
It actually went off Lundqvist. When Lundqvist was down on the ice, he couldn't get back to the other side. And that wraparound, it looked like to me like the wraparound would have missed the net. But instead, it ends up hitting Lundqvist and deflecting in.
Taylor Lear, number 58, the man who gets the goal.
Now here's the play again. Flyers get in quickly. And at this point, everything's fine for the Rangers. They have two men, 2-on-2 behind the net. And then now they have the puck. And this is a turnover. That's a bad pass to the middle of the ice on the backhand. And then there's the wraparound play.
20-year-old Taylor Lear from Saskatoon. Fourth round pick of the Flyers in 2012. Flyers with a much better start.
You know, and that's
second period.
Pardon me, Sam. That's the type of play that they're hoping out of JT Miller that he doesn't make.
Well, as the coaches were telling us before the game, he did a lot of good things in Chicago, but there's still some things that have to be cleaned up and improved on.
Yeah, mostly defensively.
Flyers aggressive in the offensive zone. Vandeveld, or excuse me, that's Ronaldo leaving it for Jason Atkinson. Gostisbehere got an assist on the goal for the Flyers. That's tipped wide. There's Vandeveld turning and shooting. Saved by Lundqvist. Pressure on Chris Mueller. He gets away from Ronaldo. Ronaldo catches up, slows him down. Puck lifted out of the zone by Dylan McIlrath. Hits the video board. Don't break that. That's an expensive item up there, Dylan. Let's go down between the benches to John Giannone.
Yeah, Sam and Joe, you guys talked about the JT Miller giveaway in the defensive zone. When he got to the bench, he sat at the end of the bench. An assistant coach didn't come over and talk to him because he kind of has an assistant coach on his line. He and Marty St. Louis spent a long time talking after that giveaway. They have been in communication throughout the night.
Thanks, John. Played in deep. Rangers with Boyle and Stahl on defense. Tanner Glass without a stick. And gets one handed to him from the bench. Mason gives it away in the corner. Kevin Hayes, Tanner Glass, and Jesper Fast on for the Rangers. Ryan McDonough has had only one fight in his NHL career. That was in the playoffs in 2012 with Adam Henrique of the New Jersey Devils. And he had a fight in preseason in the first period with Blair Jones.
No, he was incensed again. Blair Jones came at him. Sticks were up. He's trying to defend himself.
Flyers with a good start in the first 4 minutes of this second period. They kept the puck in the Rangers zone.
Yeah,
4 shots on goal.
They've done a much better job forechecking and a little bit more pressure. Here's another turnover.
Jesper Fast lost the puck. Gostisbehere's pass is off the board. Creighton Shen tied up with Tanner Glass. That shot by Morin was blocked on the way in. Sam Morin, the former first-round draft pick of the Flyers, has the puck here.
They think he's close to being an NHL player. He's at a good camp.
Morin's got some good size at 6'6", just 19 years old, first-round pick in 2013.
And a good skater for that size is something they're impressed with.
Nice lead to Zuccarello. He's got room. He tried to pass it through, and it was blocked. Zuccarello fires out. Knocked down and kept in by McElrath. Good hustle by Dylan McElrath. That time, Zuccarello a little too unselfish on the 2-on-1. Tried to squeeze that pass through, and he got blocked.
Sam, he is such an unselfish player. I mean, he's in a really good position there to shoot on his off wing. But, you know, he just wanted to set up a goal and not score it himself.
Ronaldo pressured on the play. Unlike with Atkinson on him. Brassard finding Zuccarello. Back the other way, Brassard. He didn't get all of it. Went off his stick. And Mason was able to smother it.
That pass was so hard by Zuccarello. It hit the stick of Brassard and just almost exploded off the blade of his stick.
Puck to the side of the net. It's Andrew McDonald working it ahead. Number 78 is Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Born in France. Played the last 6 years in the Swedish Elite League. And he's making an effort to make the Flyers this year. Possibly as a fourth-line center. Nash against McDonald. Fired wide on the turnaround effort.
They really think, Sam, that he's going to be their fourth-line center iceman. He was hurt earlier in camp. This is just his second game.
29 years old.
In France and a few seasons in Sweden.
That's right, the Swedish Elite League. JT Miller. Anthony Duclair gets to it. Centers in front, save by Mason. Beautiful feed to Ryan Haggerty, who was stopped by Mason. And again, Duclair coming up with a nice play. 3-on-2 Rangers. Haggerty on the puck. Drives to the net. Scores! Oh, what a shot by Ryan Haggerty. 4-1 Rangers. That was a beauty.
This team is working so hard defensively, and that's how they create this goal. Look at this play in the defensive zone. Mueller makes the play and then finds Haggerty, and Haggerty with the speed. I mean, he just blows past everybody. Look at the hands. 28 goals his final season in college. Off the crossbar and in. Beautiful goal. Stortini was trying to catch him, and he just flew right past him. And then what a finish.
Ryan Haggerty with quite a night. 2 goals and an assist. Tanner Glass goes it back to McDonough. That was deflected and gloved on a bounce by Steve Mason. 7:06 gone by in the second. Ryan Haggerty with a beautiful goal, his second of the game.
Now here's a look at our Coke Zero Super Slow-Mo. Here is Sean Haggerty. This was a goal in the first period. Beautiful move, good hands, or Ryan Haggerty, pardon me, and then finishes that off. And then here in the second period, it's Ryan Haggerty again, the speed, and look at this shot. Up high, crossbar and in. And so for Ryan Haggerty, he wasn't real noticeable in the first game that he played against the Devils, but he certainly is in this one.
McDonough toward the net. That got knocked down in front. And a quick shot by Tanner Glass was stopped by Mason. Good hustle by Tanner Glass to get to the rebound in front. Flyers come back the other way. Lawton couldn't handle it. Number 49. Rangers control. Jesper Fast. Steve Kampfer rather, able to clear it out.
Steve Mason's not getting a lot of help in his position tonight. I mean, he's actually made some very good saves in this game, yet he's allowed 4 goals on 19 shots.
Costas Beer trying to catch up to Zuccarello. That's knocked away. Good defensive play by Braden Coburn. Excuse me, that was Samuel Morin. The defenseman, the rookie defenseman. Played by Waffle, and the quick shot saved by Lundqvist as he stopped Brayden Schenn back the other way. Zuccarello. Brassard goes to the net. Zuccarello setting up the play. Pass through. Hunwick shot off the side of the net. Waffle able to move it.
Yeah, that's what they like about Hunwick and Camper. They're both mobile.
That shot is saved. Raffle over skates as he's checked by Dylan McElrath. The lead for Rick Nash. Nash moves in against Nick Schultz. Save! Rebound hit the outside of the net by JT Miller.
Boy, what a save. Beautiful move by Rick Nash and a great save by Mason.
Andrew Gordon feeding Zach Rinaldo. Rangers a 4-1 lead. 9 minutes gone by here in the second period. A good start to the period. First 4 minutes by the Flyers. Rangers have picked up their play and regained control. Nick Schultz pressured by St. Louis. Stahl fires it back in, and Mason goes to get it. Shots at 21-11 in favor of the Rangers. Belmar. Rangers take it back. Belmar on the forecheck. Stahl's pass was knocked down. Brought back in. Fired Zach Rinaldo. Pass across. Score! Jason Atkinson set up nicely by Rinaldo, and the Flyers cut the Rangers lead to 4-2.
Oh, Atkinson's he's a goal scorer. Always has been. Rangers saw him a little bit last year in the playoffs. There he scored a goal against the Rangers. There's a turnover here, and so now the Rangers are caught. And Rinaldo with a beautiful pass. Right on the tape of Atkinson, who just snaps it just inside the post over the glove of Henrik Lundqvist, and it's a goal-scoring fest. 6 goals scored in the first half of this game. Rangers lead it by 2.
Atkinson from Rinaldo at 9:42. McDonald puts it in the Rangers zone. Camper around for McDonough, but he missed it. Tanner Glass. Pass across. Picked up by Glass. Takes a hip check from Andrew McDonald. And the Flyers move up. Darryl Powell's pass through, taken the other way by Camper. Gets it back. Tipped ahead by Kevin Hayes. Flyers take over. McDonald with the outlet for Darryl Powell. Powell bumped on the play by Dylan McElrath. Teammates with the Hartford Wolfpack. Brought back in by Costas Beer. Shot wide. And that one goes right through the crease. Morin toward the net. Tipped away. The backhanded by Darryl Powell. Saved by Lundqvist. Flyers getting some more chances here in the second period. 9:10 to go. Rangers 4-2 lead. Thursday, join MSG for exclusive live coverage from Rangers training camp. You'll hear from the players, the coaches. We'll preview the new season. Rangers training camp live Thursday morning at 11 a.m. with a replay at 9 p.m. right here on MSG Network. That'll be fun. Close-up look at what goes on at camp, and things will be cut down, be a little tighter as far as team number of players are concerned.
We'll have some guests on. Dave Maloney will join us. John will be there, of course.
Mason out to get the puck. A giveaway to St. Louis. In front, Nash, who was just off his stick. Gets it back to Dan Boyle. Now Mark Stahl with room, and the drive blocked on the way in. That shot by Nash was blocked. The shot went wide by JT Miller. Pass through from St. Louis to Nash. Nash avoids the hit attempt by Morin. Stahl's pass was tipped. Stahl keeps it in. Miller's pass that got tipped. Miller, Nash, and St. Louis, the line for the Rangers. Nash tried to come out of the corner and was stopped. Flyers able to come out. Ruffle. That's tipped. And take it away. Nice play by Miller. St. Louis. Duclair heads for the net. Pass through. Just missed. Duclair was checked on the play by Mark Hall.
Boy, he's not afraid to head to the net, is he?
Nope.
Yeah, the other thing that was impressive, remember his first shift? Ronaldo went after him, gave him a bump, tried to intimidate him. Next shift on the ice, he scored. It's just he's not intimidated at all by this. Going hard to the net, making plays. It's been impressive again.
McDonough tried to put it in the corner. Puck taken away by Haggerty and brought out by Mueller. Pass intended for Duclair was broken up. And the Rangers shaken up on the play. Ryan McDonough skating slowly to the Rangers bench, bent over. Blair Jones, he was involved with Blair Jones in the first period. They had a fight, and he may have gotten hit by Jones again. Gostisbehere with a shot that went off of Lundqvist. Pressure here by the Flyers. Warren across. Gostisbehere with a shot wide. Flyers keeping the puck in the Rangers zone. Darryl Powell digging. Warren tried to bat it across, and the Rangers take over. Hunwick for Fost. Tanner Glass. Oh, good hit.
What a hit.
Glass as he hit Vanderbilt. That shot gets through. Mason makes the save. Zuccarello may have hit Morin. Morin goes back at Zuccarello. That's 6-6 against 5-8. Morin took exception.
Well, the hit by Tanner Glass was just shoulder to shoulder. Here it comes. Vanderbilt saw him coming. And he just took the hit, a solid hit. And then Zuccarello comes in. That's a hit on Morin. Morin is twice as big as him, and then Morin comes back and cross-checks him.
And Morin gets a penalty.
Yep.
Cross-checking the call. Rangers get their first power play of the game. Now, what happened to Ryan McDonough here, Joe?
Well, he was. We'll get a look at it here. Oh, he catches the elbow of Blair Jones. It didn't look like it was intentional. Blair Jones was just turning to make the pass, and McDonough caught the elbow of Jones, and that's why he was slow to go off.
Warren cross-checking at 13:36. Rangers in preseason 2 for 9 on the power play with Ryan Malone and JT Miller getting power play goals. Ryan Malone out with an injury. That will slow down his efforts to make the team. Dan Boyle to Matt Zuccarello, and across. That shot blocked in front. Boyle put it on net, and it's put in!
Was it Ryan Haggerty or was it Mueller?
Mueller. It's a power play goal. And it's 5-2 Rangers.
Yeah, Mueller on the right side of your screen will come in. Rangers just shooting the puck here. There's one. Boyle with the shot. Save there, and then Mueller just comes in. So for Mason, nobody clears the puck. And the Rangers just beat everybody to the puck. And Mueller, who is a real good goal scorer, especially on the power play, skates in, just drifts in, finds it, and puts it in to give the Rangers the 5-2 lead. And this is an area that the Rangers haven't spent much time on their specialty teams. And Thursday, when we do the show from 11 to 1, live from their training camp, we'll see a lot of power play work and penalty killing work.
This will be special teams week at training camp for the Rangers. But the Rangers come through on the power play. Good play around the net. Broussard had a good shot. Here's a chance for J.T. Miller, set up by Marty St. Louis that Mason stopped.
Line's been good. Miller's done a nice job. He looked real comfortable. Here's another turnover.
The turnover, St. Louis pass, and the shot was missed by Duclair. Mueller from Brassard and Boyle at 14-18. Dan Boyle was brought in to be an important part of the power play. He has 2 assists in the game. Anthony Duclair moves in with Ryan Haggerty. Warren checks him. Haggerty taken away by Braden Shen. 5-2 Rangers leading with 4.5 minutes remaining in the second period.
Dan Boyle had 36 points last year for the San Jose Sharks that led their defensemen in scoring. Half of those points came on the power play.
Fast slowed down by Michael Raffl. Raffl has it back. And the shot is stopped by Lundqvist with 4:15 to go. Chris Mueller on the power play. Rangers getting chances in front. Mueller finds the rebound and scores. 5-2 Rangers lead. With the injuries at center to Derek Stepan and Matthew Lombardi, Chris Mueller gets a look from the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And the coaches have said, doesn't have to be a veteran player. If the younger player is playing well, he'll get a chance to make the team.
He was brought up occasionally with the Dallas Stars last year. And again, the kid is a really good offensive player.
Mueller scoring the power play goal, has a goal and an assist in this game. Rangers with a 5-2 lead. 3 goals in the first period, 2 here in the second. Each team with 2 goals here in the second period. Rangers have Kevin Hayes on with Tanner Glass and Jesper Fast, and Boyle with the puck. It's interesting talking to Rangers associate coach Scott Arniel. He was telling us that Dan Boyle's been used to kind of a regrouping style play in San Jose.
Yeah.
And the Rangers is more of a straightforward, get the puck up quickly.
Yeah, and he can be obviously very good at that, at getting the puck, move it, join the rush. I mean, that's what he does. But, you know, there's some teams that don't mind just setting back if the play's not there, slow it down, go defense to defense, and then start moving up the ice. That's not what the Rangers are. That's not the way they want to play. They want to play that quick, move the puck quick, get skating, get up to the offensive zone as quickly as possible.
McElrath playing it off the boards, has it back. Cross to Matt Hunwick. Brassard moves in. To the net goes Zuccarello. Good defensive play by Blair Jones. Zuccarello's got it. In the crease, it's tipped away. Hunwick.
Now, we mentioned these defensemen like Hunwick that have been brought in. And the Rangers are looking for a 7, 8, 9, 10 depth defenseman. I mean, it's somewhat unusual that the Rangers were able to go most of last season without really having many injuries back on defense. It doesn't happen all that often, so they shore things up even more this year.
McElrath intercepts and dumps it in. Chris Vandevelde does it back. Coming up between periods, our special guest will be Ryan Haggerty, who's had himself quite a night tonight with 2 goals and an assist. St. Louis to Nash to St. Louis, just missed as he tried to deflect it on goal. J.T. Miller battling. McDonough got slowed down, but able to block it ahead. Played there by Mark Hall. Back to get it to Steve Kemper. 2:10 to go here in the second. Duclair. Leaves it in the corner for Haggerty. Now Mueller. And Belmar with the puck. Rangers take it back. Boyle. Rangers and Flyers tomorrow night in Philadelphia. We expect to see a lot of the veteran Flyers in the lineup. Eddie LeCavalier, Wayne Simmons. Played in front, intercepted. Good play by Dan Boyle. Andrew McDonald moves it. McDonald. Zach Rinaldo moving it ahead. And Jason Atkinson set up in the big drive by Morin and a save by Lundqvist. With a minute 13 remaining. Blue Shirts fans, secure your pass to Rangerstown. Individual tickets are available for upcoming games. For great seats, be sure to visit NewYorkRangers.com. Rangers opening the season on the road in St. Louis a week from Thursday night. And go to Columbus for a Saturday night game and the home opener Sunday night. October the 12th here at the Garden against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mr. Frost knocked away. Kevin Hayes finds it. Tanner Glass with a shot saved by Mason. And he gets to the rebound as well. Just under a minute to go. Good effort.
Braden Shen looked to be hurt on the play. I believe it was the puck that deflected up and got him in the face. Here it comes. Let's see what happens. Yes, he was the puck. His own man deflected the puck, tried to clear it, and it went straight up into the face of Braden Shen, who seems to be okay.
Broussard, Zuccarello, and Kreider the line on the ice. Stahl and Camper. Pass intended for Broussard, tipped out of the zone. Stahl goes back to get it. Hit on Camper by Scott Lawton. Lawton, number 49. Both coaches using these games to try to evaluate players against National Hockey Leaguers. A lot of young players, 19, 20-year-old players, see how they react and how they handle playing at the NHL speed and against NHL caliber players.
Well, you just mentioned Scott Lawton. He is one of those. He had a good camp last year for Philadelphia. In fact, there was some talk that they were going to keep him last year at age 19. And so he's getting very close to becoming a National Hockey League player. He's better this year than he was a year ago. They still think he'll probably start in the minors.
Second period comes to an end. Each team with 2 goals. Rangers have a 5-2 lead, end of 2. A lot of things going right for the Rangers.
Yeah, I thought the game was the period was a little bit more evenly played than the first period where the Rangers just dominated. Flyers came out. They did a better job on the forecheck, which is something that Craig Berube wants them to do. And 7 goals between these two teams is unusual.
Rangers head off. We head down to the studio to Al Trautwig. Al.
Sam, funny, you and I were talking before the game how rare it is these days for a player to go undrafted and then become an impact player in the league, like, say, a Dan Girardi. But Ryan Haggerty is trying to be exactly that, and he's had a major impact on this game. We'll talk to him about his hopes and dreams for an NHL career. We have a special feature on JT Miller. This season is supposed to be JT Miller time for him and the New York Rangers, and Joe Micheletti back in service to break down what he saw in the second period. Pretty much all Rangers tonight over the Philadelphia Flyers. And remember, they'll do it all again together tomorrow night in Philadelphia. You can see that game right here on MSG. Ryan Haggerty when we come back.
We are back. Getting set for the third period. Rangers and Flyers. New York Rangers preseason hockey is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That man is Paul Dvorsky. He has been a referee in the National Hockey League for 28 seasons, and this one will be his last. He's been a terrific referee. You see him interact with the players. He's one of the outstanding referees, and hopefully he will stay in the game in some capacity after his retirement.
I was only kidding when I saw him before the game, and I said, "Are you still around?" I didn't realize that. Then he told you later on that this was it, huh?
Yeah, he's been great. The start of the final season for him. He expects that for most of the season he'll be working with some of the younger officials in the league. John Giannone is back in his excellent spot between the benches. Let's join him right now. John?
Best spot in sports, right, Sammy?
You said it.
I had a chance to talk to assistant coach Ulf Samuelsson, asked him what or who stood out in the first 2 periods. He said, honestly, more than anything, the work ethic of the team. He said, yes, it's an exhibition game, but a lot of what we were able to create was through our hard work in the neutral zone. That's what stood out. I said, what's your thinking or your message to the team in the third period? He said, concentrate on your reads. We're asking our guys to make the plays that are there, but don't force the puck, because when we forced it, it has worked against us tonight.
Thanks, John. Rangers start the third period with Derek Brassard, Matt Zuccarello on the right, Chris Kreider on the left, Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle on defense. Played ahead. Raffle, number 12, behind the net. Double team. Out to the point, and the quick shot by Morin is a save by Lundqvist. Morin's been pretty active for the Flyers.
Well, Marty St. Louis, or pardon me, Matt Zuccarello got him a little incensed in that second period, and then he started hitting everything in sight. Again, a former first-round pick of the Flyers that has got good size and good skating ability. And Matt Zuccarello, doesn't matter who he's playing against. Nobody intimidates him. Nobody.
JT Miller. Got Lawton for Philadelphia. Puck out in front, shot wide.
2 good plays by the Flyers on the forecheck, finding the open man in the slot. That time, Lear, what a chance he had to miss the net.
Lear, who scored earlier. Nice play by Miller. And the Rangers able to break out. Nash after the puck, Braden Coburn there against him. Blair Jones has it. Jones, who started his career with Tampa Bay. And for parts of 5 seasons with the Lightning, parts of the last 3 seasons with the Calgary Flames. Mueller's shot was stopped. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. on MSG Plus, relive the Giants' big win over the Washington Redskins last Thursday night with highlights and analysis from Bob Papa and Carl Banks. Giants Rewind tomorrow night at 6 on MSG Plus. And NFC East is shaping up pretty good, Joe. With the Eagles 3-1, the Cowboys 3-1, and now the Giants 2-2.
Giants took a good time to start winning some games. 0-3 would not have gotten it done.
They would have been in some serious trouble. Nick Schultz sends it back in. McElrath's pass was tipped. Haggerty able to get it out of the zone. It's interesting listening to Ryan Haggerty talking with Al, Joe, about the incentive, the motivation to get better each year after not getting drafted.
Turned himself into a good hockey player. Now the question is, can you make that next big step, which is a big one from college hockey to this level?
That shot off the glove of Lundqvist and around the glass. Gostisbehere able to move it. Morin. That shot blocked into the corner. Knocked away from Stortini. McElrath lifting it out of the zone, but put it in the Flyers bench and play stops.
The head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, Craig Berube, took over the Flyers last season after the 3rd game. Peter Laviolette started as the head coach. He was let go after game number 3. Craig Berube, who really paid his dues in the minor leagues as an assistant coach at this level, a hard-working guy that, was a tough player, but, as you mentioned earlier, Sam, is really, studied this game and understands how you have to try and play at this level to win a championship. So this is his first full season now as running his own training camp.
Kreider takes it off the boards. His shot knocked down by Mason with a glove. Zuccarello and Raffle. Kreider comes over. Coburn wraps up Kreider. keeps it alive. Broussard around to Zuccarello. Nice move by Zuccarello against McDonald. Comes around the net. Mark Stahl. That's blocked across by Andrew Gordon and deflects out of play. Play stops. 3:18 gone by here in the third. Experience Blue Shirts action in a suite at Madison Square Garden this season. A limited number of single-night suites are now available. Visit NewYorkrangers.com/suites or call 212-465-6771 to reserve yours today. And again, the puck deflects out of play. So stop and starts here in the third period as you look at JT Miller. And feature it now hand on between periods on JT and his efforts to win a key role on this team. Warren pressured by Nash. Off the spear. Warren. Young Flyers defense. A lot of spots open for either team, but
no, the Flyers they've got 7 defensemen that are you would call veteran defensemen, and then they've got Timo Timonen, who's out on long-term injury. I mean, that's another 6 months because of the blood clots that he was diagnosed with this summer. And so they still have plenty of players. So there's only maybe a couple of spots on this Flyers team. Chicago, they'll be in here on Friday night. I mean, I don't know, are there any spots?
Not too many.
Oh, well, they got to get rid of somebody. They're a couple of million over the salary cap.
You always want to think that if nice hustling play by Mueller. Got his stick on it and tipped it toward the net. Off of Mason, and he was able to cover it up. Good hustle by Chris Mueller.
Yeah, and a lot of these young defensemen for the Flyers, they've been under a lot of pressure in this game, and the Rangers have taken advantage of that with their aggressiveness and their quickness. And Mueller, who has a goal tonight, had another chance there.
Hayes won the faceoff. Kevin Hayes on with Jesper Fast and Tanner Glass. Started to say, Joe, you like to believe that if a guy really has a strong camp and is able to impress the coaches, that they'll find a spot for him. But it's not easy. Good play by McElrath. Hayes plays it deep. Take away by Jesper Fast. Glass forced the turnover and then got cross-checked in front by Mark Hall. Come in and took the puck away from Atkinson without his stick. Was unable to play the puck. Hunwick back for it. 5 minutes gone by here in the third period. Takeaway by Kreider, but it was outside the zone. And the Rangers whistled for an offside. 4:58 gone by. Chris Kreider, technically last year was a rookie season, but he had played so much in the playoffs. He had some valuable experience, and you can see his growth as a player. And he just looks
now he just looks comfortable. Now he looks like a player, right? Like he's got it figured out. Still learning, certain things, but now he looks, when you watch him play, and he feels like he's a National Hockey League player that can contribute in a lot of ways.
And he was a big part of the Rangers' run in the playoffs. His return in the Pittsburgh series.
Oh, for sure.
Part of the reason that series was turned around.
Speed and size helped in the power play.
Andrew Gordon wrapped up there by Broussard. Stahl moving it up the boards. Zuccarello was tied up there, and Stahl able to clear it out. Rangers with 3 goals in the first period. Each team with 2 goals in the second. Both goaltenders have come all the way. Kept in by Gostisbehere. Scott Lawton puts it out in front, and that shot hit his own man. Blair Jones, I believe, got hit with that shot. And he's heading to the bench. Back the other way. Nad. Sliding effort by Gostisbehere. Shane Gostisbehere with a good play.
That's a really good play. Looked like that shot in front of the Rangers net. I think the puck was on end a little bit, so it went straight up in the air, and Jones, who had done a good job behind the net, was coming back to the front. And they got hit.
Anthony Duclair with the puck. Turning. Takes the shot. Glove save. Oh. Another quick release shot. This time Mason was ready. He was beaten in the first period. This time he was able to stop Duclair. Tonight's save of the game brought to you by Melrose Credit Union. You can get there from here.
Well, Steve Mason hasn't had a lot of help tonight. And this is an excellent glove save. Duclair, Anthony Duclair, walked into the slot. Boy, he got plenty on this shot. Let it rip, and Steve Mason, beautiful save.
We had a chance to talk with the Edmonton contingent that's here. Their president, Kevin Lowe, their special consultant and advisor, Martin Messier, the former captain of the Rangers, and Bob Nicholson, former head of Canadian hockey, who's now joined the Oilers.
He was
here watching the game.
Bob Nicholson was a great hire by Edmonton. Doing wonderful things with the Canadian program for all those years.
We're impressed with young Anthony Duclair. Stood out. Right across to Matt Hunwick. Toward the net but wide. Off the boards. Chip toward the crease. And blocked away. Another play out in front. Stortini able to move it across.
Damn, when the left defenseman Hunwick got the puck, Duclair was in the far corner. He was banging his stick coming out of the corner, wanting it.
Foss with the intercept. And then the puck forced out of the zone. Retrieved by Kevin Hayes and taken away by Atkinson. Hayes recovered nicely. Good job. And here's Hayes with a takeaway. 2-on-1 down low with Foss. Flyers able to catch up. Shot by Boyle. Saved by Mason.
What a shift by Hayes. Lost the puck, gave it away, got it back, and it turns into a scoring chance.
Atkinson blocked by Stahl. And Hayes able to move it up. Taken away. Zach Ronaldo. And Boyle back for it. Backhander by Coburn. Knocked away off the glass by Lundqvist. And a fairly quiet night for Henrik Lundqvist, who will play one more complete game before the end of the preseason. Tomorrow night, Cam Talbot will play a full game.
And the Rangers, just two more games. Friday night, the game here at Madison Square Garden against Chicago, and Saturday night, the next night, in New Jersey. And then the regular season.
Here we go.
It's going the following week.
Braden Shen checked by Mark Stahl. And the puck bounces past Morin, who chases back for it. Broussard on him. Andrew Gordon's pass taken back. Broussard dumps it in. Just under 11 minutes to go in the third period. Rangers leading 5-2. Trying to take it away. Rangers able to move it ahead. Here comes Rick Nash. Nash bumps with Mark Alt. St. Louis. Miller's in front. That was knocked away by Jason Atkinson. Atkinson, who has a goal for the Flyers in the game, able to move it out. Scott Lawton has a poke check by Steve Kampfer to break up the right. JT Miller off the skate of St. Louis. Now Atkinson. Nash checked him from behind. Lawton's shot deflected away. And St. Louis able to move it. This is more of your typical preseason type play.
The pace has slowed down here in the third period. When that happens, players start getting a little bit fatigued, is when you see more mistakes.
Andrew McDonald back for it. Stortini and Stahl. Dan Boyle has had a couple of assists in the game on the ice. Certainly he seems to be fitting in very nicely with the Rangers' style of play. Had an assist on the power play goal.
And for the most part, they've kept Stahl and Dan Boyle together to allow them to get a feel for one another and communicate.
When we talk about the Rangers' top six being set, look at McDonough and Girardi, Stahl and Dan Boyle, John Moore and Kevin Klein. Now the search is on for depth. Saved by Lundqvist with 8:33 remaining in the third period. Rangers with a 5-2 lead. Kevin Hayes was impressive on that shift.
Yeah, he sure was, Sam. Had the puck. He'll lose it here trying to make a play. And go, oh, boy, better do something about this. So he comes over, takes Axelson out of the way, uses his reach again, keeps working at it. All this turns into a scoring chance after losing it inside his own blue line. That's a good shift. And he showed there, again, the speed of the game and whatnot. They want to see if he can keep up the pace. He showed it there.
Coming up, the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, excitement every day. Face-off win by Shannon. The shot by Gustafsson goes in. I don't know if it was tipped in front, but it started with a face-off win, and the Flyers cut the Rangers' lead to 5-3.
Right off the face-off, straight back. And here comes and it looked like it hit somebody out high, and I'm not sure if Lundqvist ever saw this. See, did it hit anybody? I think it hit ice. I think it went all the way through, and Lundqvist picked it up late and only got a piece of the shot.
Shane Gustafsson went to Union College, played on the NCAA championship team.
Most valuable player in the tournament, wasn't he?
Their offensive defensemen were outstanding in that Frozen Four. Shane McElrath lifts it out. Rangers with the 3-0 lead in this game. 3 goals in the first period. Flyers have gotten now to within 2. Gustafsson Shannon at 11:30. Puck picked up by Rick Nash. Good job by McDonald. Came over. And Nash upset because McDonald slashed his stick and broke his stick. Usually, it's a penalty. Nash has got a new stick and a shot stopped by Mason, and he covers up. I think Rick Nash wants to know why a penalty wasn't called on that play. Tomorrow night, Rangers and Flyers again. This time in Philadelphia. We're on the air at 7 p.m. right here on MSG Network. Rangers and Flyers. Hope you'll join us. I believe that was the young referee, Darcy Burchell, that Rick Nash was talking with.
18 games in the National Hockey League. He refereed a year ago. Well, he's trying to make his way up here, and he's one of the young referees that you talked about that's working with the veterans.
And his bosses are here tonight. Haggerty with a good shot, a save by Mason. Rolly Campbell and Mike Murphy are in attendance in the NHL.
Boy, these kids have been impressive, haven't they?
Yeah, Haggerty and Duclair.
Haggerty's been good. He's had the puck. He's been around the net. Duclair again having a real solid game. That's what this, you know what? That's what the coaches and the management, that's what they want. They want their decisions to be difficult. Of course, salary cap always plays into these things, this day and age.
Now, if Duclair does not make the team, he will probably go back to junior.
Right.
He has another year of junior eligibility.
He cannot go to the American
Right.
League.
Ryan Haggerty would go to the American League if he does not stick with the Rangers and play with the Hartford Wolfpack. And their fine coaching staff, Ken Jernander, Pat Bowler, and Jeff Boutaboom do an outstanding job. Tanner Glass with a shot that's stopped by Mason. He holds it, 6:29 to go. Time for our game recap, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Ryan Haggerty, 2 goals and an assist. Anthony Duclair with a goal and an assist. And Chris Mueller with a power play goal and an assist. And they've been aligned together and they've played very, very well in this game. The youngsters have been impressive. Rangers a 5-3 lead. Rangers 35 shots on goal.
You know, Sam, you just see that. You see the talent, right? The skating ability, the puck handling ability, the shooting, the awareness of where they are. I mean, these are talented kids.
Wharton with a nice lead. 2-on-1 developed. Raffle with a pass across, missed. Try to hit Braden Shen. Nice play by the Flyers. Good rush up the ice. Here's Shen. Checked by Boyle. Good shot by Miller to take it away and get it out of the zone. Under 6 minutes to go in the third. Camper swings it around in St. Louis. Miller. Flyers take it back and move out. Scott Lawton with the puck. That's taken away by St. Louis. Camper, good pass ahead for Nash. Nash against Atkinson. Braden Coburn with a good pass through. And Lawton able to move it. McElrath.
Nice play there by McElrath.
Long lead for Duclair, just hopped over his stick. Checked by Nick Schultz.
Well, he talked to Al about working on his skating in the offseason. You can really tell. I mean, he's not being caught flat-footed like he was last year, a year before that. So that's improved. And he's not trying to do anything that's too fancy.
Yeah, good point. Basically a keep it simple approach. As we've said this morning, the head coach said the number 7 defensive spot on this team is wide open.
Wide open. Meanwhile, the Flyers had a real good chance. Here's Raffle behind his own net. Little give and go here, and look at his speed. Comes back all the way and has that attempt. Raffle came over from Austria a year ago, just out of the reach of Braden Shen.
Kevin Hayes on for the Rangers. With Jesper Fast and Tanner Glass. The puck deflects out of play. We'll step out for a moment. 4:27 to go in the third. Rangers with a 5-3 lead. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Tomorrow night in Philadelphia on MSG at 7 p.m. Friday night, 7 p.m. on MSG against the Blackhawks here at the Garden. Saturday night on MSG and MSG Plus as the Rangers visit the Devils. Will be a double broadcast. Joe, you'll be working that game.
Yeah, I'll go over and join the guys over there. John Giannone will be along as well. Be the final game for the Rangers before the regular season starts on the 9th. Gordon slides it in the middle.
it back from Braden Shen. Here's Waffle trying to squeeze through. And Dan Boyle takes over. Just under 4 minutes to go. Rangers leading. Pass in front. Score! Jesper Fast off a beautiful feed from Kevin Hayes. Rangers with a 6-3 lead. Whoa, nice play.
When we talked to Joe Quenneville, the Chicago coach, the other morning about Kevin Hayes, he says his kid's an impressive kid. How about this pass? The coaches here and the management, they talk about his vision and how he finds people. How about that one? That is a thing of beauty.
And Jesper Fast, who's proven to be a very smart player, always in the right spot.
Right.
And what they're looking for, what the Rangers coaches want to see, is a little offense in his game. That was impressive.
Well, that's 3 goals for Jesper Fast, including his second tonight.
Rangers with a 6-3 lead. Here's Chris Kreider. Out to Ryan McDonagh. Wrist shot that was blocked in front by Braden Coburn.
Rangers goal, his second of the game, his third of the preseason.
For Fast, 3 preseason goals. Good hit on Atkinson by McDonagh. And the puck cleared out. You're watching the Foxwoods Final 5. Foxwoods, excitement every day. Visit foxwoods.com now. Fast from Hayes and Glass at 16-10. And a 2-assist game for Kevin Hayes. Rangers have had 7 players with multi-point games.
What they have had in the preseason is balanced scoring, getting contributions from many different sources.
Well, some good signs there, Joe. And it starts with the overall skating ability of the team. The team speed has really significantly picked up last season and even more so this season.
Ooh, big hit there by McElrath.
Knocking down Zach Rinaldo.
I think McElrath has, as this game has continued, he's gotten better. He seems to be more comfortable making plays, gets the puck. He's calmer than he was in the past, not afraid to make a mistake.
Pressure on Dan Boyle as he was ridden down by Zach Stortini. Boyle, as we come down to the final 90 seconds of the game. And a good effort on home ice by the Rangers. Play stopped. Offside was whistled.
Now here's another look at the goal. Good work by Tanner Glass in the corner using his strength. The communication between Glass, who looked up and saw Hayes there, and then that marvelous pass from Hayes, and the good finish by Jesper Fast. Quick wrist shot, beats Mason up high, and the Rangers with 6 goals in this one.
Haggerty, Mueller, Duclair, McDonagh, Boyle, Fast, and Hayes have each had multi-point games. Rangers and Flyers tomorrow night in Philadelphia. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock right here on MSG. That shot went off of Lundqvist. Andrew Gordon getting a chance in front. Under a minute to go. Rangers will go 2-1 on the preseason. Ryan McDonagh, who had a fight in the first period with Blair Jones. Here's Nash for St. Louis, and what a save with a right skate by Steve Mason. Nice pass from Nash to St. Louis. Warren shot kicked away by Lundqvist.
Mason has allowed 6 goals on 37 shots, and he's made 8 or 10 brilliant saves. like that one from in close.
As you pointed out earlier, hasn't had all that much help.
No.
As the Rangers have taken advantage of some of the young Flyers defensemen. Ranger fans on their feet at the Garden. And the Rangers with an impressive 6-3 win. And smiles all around. There's a lot of good things done on the ice by the Rangers in this one. Ryan Haggerty, Stamford, Connecticut product.
You know, Sam, I go back to what John Giannone reported at the start of the third period in talking to Old Samuelson, one of the assistant coaches for the Rangers, about how impressed he was with the work ethic. And that's, you know, that's a good point, because individually there were a lot of productive nights, but as a team, I mean, they came out right from the opening faceoff and pressure all over the ice, forcing turnovers, creating scoring chances, and they played that way for the most part throughout the night.
Check out our 3 stars of the game, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit on the web at searchmercedes.com.
The third star from the Rangers with 2 goals in the game, number 91,
Jesper Fast is the 3rd star of the game. Jesper, come on out and take a bow. Oh. Well, they couldn't get him. I think he's
the second
gone back
from the
into the locker room. Well, Anthony Duclair will take a bow. Why not? Another nice effort by the youngster.
Yeah.
And this one is first on Madison Square Garden ice.
And tonight's first star.
And the number 1 star. And his first game as a Ranger on Garden ice. The local product, Ryan Haggerty.
He was really good. Showed a lot of talent, showed the hand, showed the speed, and showed his scoring ability.
And the ability to finish. 2 goals and an assist for Ryan Haggerty, the number 1 star of the game. Rangers with a 6-3 win. Henrik Lundqvist goes the distance in goal as the Rangers come up with a win. We'll be back at the Garden in just a moment.